But I'm going to back up before that and just show you, like, been out in the field. These were big protests and strikes. This is me in the middle there. I don't know whether you can see it, but there'll be a close-up shot there. That's my sound guy, always goofing off. That's me there behind the camera lens. I got told off by the Prime Minister once. I got too close to his lens, to his face, and he wasn't very happy. So, you know, I'm a young guy, right? Then, like you guys are going to be soon. Okay? And I thought I had pretty much everything. This is my camera car. And I did documentaries, short stories, feature films, and so forth for ABC Australia. This is a shearing documentary I did. This guy there on the skidoo there, he was a famous compere or anchorman of a music show, which I helped create. I'm going to tell you a bit about that. Here I was assigned to do the new and permanent Parliament House documentary for the life of that. Man from Snowy River. You ever heard of that film, Man from Snowy River? Okay, that's where it was shot, right here. I'm doing a documentary there on that film, Man from Snowy River. And this is me shooting up in the area there. Got kind of long hair, wavy brush back hair. I thought I was really cool. And this is a very famous journalist I work with. These are the people that lived up in that area there. But you can see, like, you know, I'm kind of buff, wasn't I? This is me kind of traveling with the Prime Minister on an election campaign, so we traveled all over Australia. This is a place called Broken Hill. A good-looking guy he was. But believe it or not, you get old. It's just in front of you. This is looking over the capital of the city. This is Canberra, the capital. I invented this shot for weather. You ever see the weather and they use a video for weather? Okay, I invented that. Before that, it used to be a slide. So I created this. This is me. Look at the muscles. So that's okay. Thank you. That's probably enough for the video. I was really cool. Oh, this is an ABC sports special I did. Anyway, it's called Orienteering. But I want to back up before that a little bit and tell you about my beginning. And I want to say to you all how privileged I am to be in front of you today. Because you are the most privileged people on the face of the earth. You just don't know it yet. You just don't know it yet. For instance, I got two vases here, right? Let's say they're priceless. The same, right? You and me the same, right? Right? Oh, I made one mistake. Would you still buy this one? Would you buy this? Would you buy this? It's just one mistake. Just one mistake. That's how I began. My background is this. That's where I started from. You guys are here, but I started from that. Takes a while to get back together. My dad left when I was 5. I don't know who my dad is. I grew up in the projects. My mother beat me every day till I was 17. That was a normal day for me. Then at 17 I thought, I've had enough. So I got married. Had a couple of kids. At 21 I got divorced. This is before Christ, by the way. BC. So by the time I'm 21, I'm like this by the time I'm 21. It's pretty messed up. But I didn't know I was messed up just by making bad decisions. So then I decided to start filming. And I started filming some good stuff, got some lucky breaks, chased fire engines, chased ambulances. And then at that time, record companies were having a hard time selling vinyl records. You may not remember them, but that's how records used to be in the past. And they approached me as a filmmaker and said, Mr. Hughes, do you think you can make a feature film in 3.5 minutes? I said, I don't know. Why, what's up? So we've got 2 new bands. We want to make a film clip. This is before video. It's 1974. We want to make a film clip of these bands, and we're going to play them in drive-ins and theaters before the show and during the transmission, you know, the intermission. and see if the public pick up on them. He said, sure. One band's called The Angels, heavy metal band. Another band, never heard of, AC/DC. Have you ever heard of AC/DC? Do you know what AC/DC stands for? Antichrist, Devil's Child. That's right. You know how I know that? I got drunk with them lots. Lots. So I created, if you see that film clip, I'm on the highway to hell, I did it. That's my clip. So that's my beginning. So anyway, we played that in theaters and drive-ins, and it became a huge hit. They went from 0 to #1 in about 6 weeks. So then we did a little featurette on this other band called The Angels. It was called Rocker, and we played that at intermission, 20-minute featurette. And wherever that played, the house was packed with young kids just like you. They didn't care what the movie was. They went to see this clip. So they became famous also. Then the record company said, well, how about this? Boy, that was so special and so successful. How about we create a TV show? I said, sure. So there's 2 other guys. Graham Webb, he invented the show called Blind Date. He's the executive producer. And Donnie Sutherland, that was the guy in the Skidoo. I lived with him. Him and I were like mates, crazy mates. We just were really bad guys. And so we created this 2-hour show called Sounds Unlimited. If you do a Google, it will come up. Sounds Unlimited, then later on it's called Sounds. Anyway, I did that for about 3.5 years. Pretty much I was drunk most of the time, just to be sober. And I didn't take care of my person or my body, just the person of the flesh. Because I didn't know that was bad. That's what everybody else did. That's what I did to be cool. I was pretty cool, wasn't I? I thought I was cool. Had a cool hairdo. Took 20 minutes to get that do. Anyway, AC/DC decided to do a world tour. Leave Australia, because they're an Australian band, and do a tour around the world. And I filmed their last concert, which is about an 1.5-hour drive out of Sydney into a little country town. And it's a very interesting thing, because I never had God in my life. I didn't even know there was a God. In Australia, it's a non-Christian country, so most Australians don't know there's God. Did you know that? Very rare for an Australian to become a believer. And when they become a believer, they know the difference between an unbeliever and a believer. Anyway, I'm filming AC/DC with the big speakers blaring, pounding your chest, the bass just about kicking your heart out of your chest. And as I was filming it was very interesting. It was like I was in a bubble. And I was thinking, if I died tonight, who would come to my funeral? Do you know how many would come? 0. I had a huge entourage, plenty of money. I mean, plenty of money. When you got the money, you got lots of friends. But when you got no money, that's how many friends you got. Do you think Michael Jackson died a happy guy? Do you think Michael Jackson was a really happy camper? I tell you, he was one of the saddest men on the face of the earth, based on my experience. Anyways, I'm filming this concert, and I'm realizing what's going to happen. What's going to happen after the show? Some rich dude's going to ask us up to his house for a party. We're all going to go up there. There's going to be plenty of everything. I'll wake up tomorrow morning, want to know who I'm with, and I'll start all over again tomorrow. So I've already been doing this for 3.5 years already. Did it every day. That's what I did. That was my normal life. Is that something you would like to do? Is that something you kind of would dream about doing? Maybe dream about it, right? Would you like to be like this? Anyway, so I decided, you know what? I'm going to kill myself. I'm done. I'm 25 years old. I've lived life to the fullest, and I've had enough. Life's not worth living. Because I had everything. I had plenty of everything. And the peak of that, life is to commit suicide. So I decided, I had a camper, you know those campers on the back of pickups? It's my location vehicle. I decided, while I'm filming AC/DC, I decided I'm going to go out. I'm going to drive into the country. I'm already in the country, but 2 miles drive into this bush where Australia is very heavily timbered. Drive under the trees, drink, take sleeping pills, turn on the gas, liquid under the seat. Now find me, whatever happened to Mr. Austin Hughes? A mystery. Right? Because I'm in control. I'm going to take my own life according to my own control. So I'd be a big mystery. So that's what I did. After the concert, took off, drove into the country, couldn't find me. Raining, it's about 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm in the back of the camper there, and I'm about to open the bottle, take some pills, and just do it. But before I did, I thought, you know what? In case there's a God, just in case, I'm going to let him have my remains. So I said, God, if you're real, I don't know whether you are real, but if you're real, you can have what's left over. Because I'm done. I can't be satisfied. I'm done. Now, I've heard this name Jesus. I don't know whether you're the same guy, I don't know who you are, but Jesus, if you're real, you can see me. You can have what's left over. You can have my remains. You know what I've got to lose, right? And then all of a sudden, on my back door, I went from wanting to kill myself to, oh, someone's going to kill me. It's funny. You know, it's crazy. I want to kill myself according to my way. In other words, I've replaced God with myself. I've become God. That's what Satan wants you to do, become God. You're in control, no one else. I can take my life if I want to. I'm God. But then when the door knocked, I thought that was an aborigine going to spear me to death. I mean, it really scared me. Knocked the second time. I opened up the door. There's a little white guy there. It's raining. He said, oh, I'm in the hills here. I'm looking for a hermit, a friend of mine. I'm lost. Can you help me? I said, mate, I don't know where I am. Come on in. So he came in. He sat down at like a cafeteria-style counter. We drank coffee, and I just told him how great a guy I was. Because my ego was bigger than me. How fantastic I was. I've done this TV show. I've done this thing and done this. Have you seen this? He didn't know anything, this guy. Anyway, about 3 in the morning, I said to him, hey, how did you find me anyway? He said, well, I saw your light on. I'm thinking, oh, dummy. Better turn the light off because I don't want this to happen, right? I'm supposed to be liquid under the seat. I don't want to be found that quickly. So he talked some more. Well, I talked some more. About 5 o'clock in the morning came, and this guy said, look, I've got to go. I've got to find this guy. So he's leaving. And as he's on the way out, I said, friend, I've got another question for you. He said, sure, what? I said, are you a Christian by any chance? It's very interesting. He said, yes, I am. And I love the Lord very much. So he left. I laid down and went to sleep. Thinking, you know what? Killing myself wasn't such a good idea after all. I'm a pretty cool dude. So I'm asleep there. And I woke up about 11:30 in the morning. And you've got to remember, I'm a filmmaker, right? I woke up and I'm looking out of the window of the camper. And the first thing I noticed was the sky was blue. Can you believe that? I never knew that before. I never knew the sky was blue. I looked around and the trees were green. I didn't know that either. And there was this unbelievable noise. Finally, what is that noise? It's birds. Birds make noise. Now, you have the terminology called born again or saved. I didn't have the terminology. I had the experience. I was born again, but I didn't know I was born again. So I decided, okay, well, that's that. I decided to drive back to Sydney. I found my way back to the highway, and as I'm heading back towards Sydney, I'm thinking about something I heard as a kid. Something about Father, our Father, their Father, someone's Father. Something about heaven, someone in heaven. And then my eyes began to leak. I couldn't stop them from leaking. I pulled off the side of the road, and I wept, and I wept, and I wept. And I felt really good. Then I realized there was a God. And his name is Jesus Christ. And I think I met him. Now, if I didn't meet him, I met someone sent by him. But there's no difference. If you were a messenger of Jesus, you are Jesus at that time. That's who you are. Changed my whole life. I got back into Sydney, got into the house there where I lived with the guy, and I started packing up my room. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm packing up the room." He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm leaving." He said, "You're leaving? What about the show?" You know, I made big money. I said, "I don't care for the show." He said, "Something's really wrong, man. What's the deal?" I said, "If I tell you, you promise not to laugh." Because, you know, everyone thinks you're weird when you're Christians. Have you ever had that experience? You ever been out there and think, "You're a Christian? Give me a break." You ever had that experience? Well, in Australia, it's worse. They'll punch your nose. Christian, boom, turn the other cheek. They'll test it. You're supposed to turn the other cheek. Well, of course, I didn't do that. I had a good right hook. But anyway, I said, "Donnie, if I tell you what happened, you promise not to laugh." He said, "Mate, I'm not going to laugh. This is too serious." I said, "I think I met God last night." Well, he started rolling around the floor laughing. "What are you smoking? Give me some of that stuff," you know. So anyway, I left, I packed up my van, and you know what I did? I talked to God. I talked to Jesus for a whole year. I lived in the back of that camper. I wrote poetry to God, poems, and I got to find out he's a real nice guy. He loves us. Even like that. He loves us. So after about a year living in the camper, I got back into Sirius television. And did, you know, like I said, ABC. Got hooked up, made big bucks, and did pretty well. But I'd like to show you something that I learnt along the way. You know, the Bible talks about us being a vessel, right? Does it talk about us being a vessel? Do you really believe that? Do you really believe God's inside of you? You really believe that? You really believe that? Okay. I'll take your word for it. Chris has something for me, right? Yeah. Do you have something? Could you explain what this is? You see this is, right? This is water, right? Right? It's water, right?
Yeah. Well, our sewer backed up this morning. The sewer came from the sewer system up into the toilet up in the elementary school. So the health department knew about it. They asked me to get a sample because they have to test it for diseases like typhoid and stuff like that. So he said he could use it.
Now pretend this is you. Pretend this is you. Not too much, Chris. Would you like to drink some of this? You want to drink some of this? You want to drink some of this? It's just a little bit of sewer water. It's just one drop. If you're thirsty, would you drink it?
Maybe if I'm about to die.
You'll only live 10 days because it's got typhoid in it. So you'll get about 10 days of pain. But you'll live for 10 days. Would you drink this? Would you drink this? Would you drink this? Then why do you put music in your ears? Why do you do that? Because that's just what you're doing. Just one drop. Why do you go to the movies? Just one drop. It's only one drop. Wouldn't you drink this? Wouldn't you drink this? Would you be going to drink this? It's real sewer water. You wouldn't, would you? How many of you guys eat chips? Put your hands up, you eat chips. How many of you can only just eat one chip? How many can you eat one chip? One, just one. Just one chip and walk away. You think you can do it? You can't do it. Listen, let me tell you, the world is like this. That is the world. One drop will ruin the whole container. One drop. And with the world, you think I can take one chip and stop? No. Then it's another chip. Then it's another chip. And then before you know it, you end up like this. Now the Lord can kind of put it back together, but it's taken a long time. A real long time. Week after week. So if you think you're listening to something good and having fun and getting entertained, you're wrong. You're taking sewer into your ears. I'm being serious. You're taking sewer right into your ears. If you don't believe me, I want you to do an experiment. Ask your mum to buy a whole bunch of carrots and just eat carrots for 2 weeks, nothing else. Just do it. You know what color you'll be? You know you'll be orange, right? That's why we don't eat all those orange. That's why we don't eat them, right? Because your complexion will become orange. Do you think taking what you take into your eyes and into your ears has any different result? Do you think somehow you got this God meter that filters all the bad stuff out and you're getting just the good stuff out of that? Hey, have a drink. Would you like a drink? It's been sitting for a while now. It's all filtered. Sunlight filtered it out. Do you think it's fixed now? No. It's ruined. So I heard that you had some trip on the mountain about Noah, right? Listen, I'm before the flood. You're after the flood. Why would you want to turn the clock backwards? Why wouldn't you appreciate what God has given you? If your family's a little messed up, is it as messed up as mine? Can you compare your parents with mine? Then you've got nothing to complain about. I've got nothing to complain about. I feel so gracious that the Lord found me and put his life inside of me and rescued me. Now, I still do some films from time to time. I did one year before last, a reality TV show, made $300,000 in 3 months, paid the bills, but I'm not usurped by it. You see the difference? If I want to pursue that career, I could make a lot of money. But let me tell you, I already know that ain't going to make me happy. I've already been to the end of that road. So money's not going to make you happy. Possessions will not make you happy. Having the coolest car won't make you happy. I just had a Rolls Royce I tried to blow up. For Conan O'Brien. You ever heard that guy? I wanted to blow up my Rolls Royce. So none of these things have any value. So whether you have a lot or whether you have a little, it really doesn't make much difference. The question is, do you have Christ? Do you have Christ? And this young man, what's your name? Pablo, you said he's inside of you. Definitely inside of you. You want to put some sewer into you? You want a whole bottle of sewer? Just drink straight from the bottle. Because that is what the world is doing to you. You don't even know it is the problem. This is how we advertise, we create subliminal messages. Whenever I create a TV show, I don't create a TV show to entertain. I create a TV show that you're going to be so usurped by, you want more of it. It's so bad. Why? Because it's just going to corrupt you. That is the way of the world. Now, I don't know about other brothers and sisters if they've spoken to you about their background. I lived it. I'm part of it. I know what rock is all about. I know what music's all about. I know what television and film's all about. It's my background in my life, unfortunately. You know? But I hate for you all to make some bad choices. Because one small choice today, that was just one choice. Look, one choice. Just one little choice. right? But look at the damage. Now, I could pick up those pieces. I said to Michio, maybe, Mr. Miyake, maybe you could glue this together for the kids. It's going to take a while. But I can guarantee it's going to always leak. Doesn't matter how much water you put in, it's always going to leak. Doesn't matter how much Christ you get in, it's always leaking out. So why do that to yourselves? I hope this has kind of helped you a little bit. Does it help you a little bit? Now, I don't know how our time is, but if you want to, do we have time for any questions? Okay, so if anyone would like to ask a question, if it's a ridiculous question, I'll give you a ridiculous answer. So I'm good at that. But, if you really want to ask any questions, I'll try to do my best to answer it. Does anyone have any questions? For a little while. What's the other question?
No, I meant, is it, because you're in the film industry still, right?
Somewhat.
So the people you work with,
Mm-hmm.
is it hard for you, don't you have to associate with them? And
No, I don't, because I'm an independent. See, what happened was, if I wanted to be in the film industry, I'd be here in Hollywood. That's where the money is. I'm hiding out in Oklahoma, and I sell digital editing systems to schools. That's what I mainly do. I visit schools, teach them how to create videos, how to make videos for YouTube or little stories for their school. And so I teach them how to make movies, but it's a great, powerful medium. I tell a story about this. If someone died and you walked past their coffin and you saw them dead in the coffin, you might say, oh, he looks dead. But if they play a video of the life and work of that person and fade to black, then you go, oh my goodness, he's gone. That's the power of video. So when you see on video, he's really dead. In the coffin, he looks dead. That's the power of video. That's how influenced we are by video. It's very hard to break into it, but there are so many cable channels now, and there are so many independent things out there. I would hope that you would get involved with video, not so that you would go to Hollywood, but that you can use this medium for the Lord's interest. To combat some of this sewer that's coming out from Hollywood. We have to have the tools. Do you know what I'm saying? But we don't have to have the goal. I wouldn't encourage anyone to want to become a film star or involved with film or television, because it's corrupt to the uttermost. I never met one genuine person the whole time I was there. In fact, I didn't even know who I was. I found out who I was at the point of suicide. So I didn't even know who I was. So there's nothing real there. It's all perceived. It's like the sewer water. You can't see it, can you? You cannot see it, can you? But it's there. That's film and television, and also music. And no one there is happy. Let me tell you, no one is happy. They're not happy. It doesn't matter how many cars they got, how much property they own, how big of their entourage is. Without Christ, they are not happy. I lived with them. I lived it. Any question? Is that it, or yes, sir?
Was it difficult for you to avoid all the temptations after that?
Not too hard. When you start from here, you already know how broken you are. You get it? The problem is you're starting from here, and you don't think you're going to end up like that. You think, oh, it's just a little thing. You don't realize that could be around the corner. You just don't realize. It may not even be your fault. You may be associating with somebody in the world. He's driving his car. He gets a bit of a hothead. He wants to drag the guy next to you. Plants the accelerator. Fishtails out. Hits a pole. You're dead. But he walked away. Just a bad choice. He got in the wrong car with the wrong person. You don't think it's possible? You don't think Satan would want that to happen to you all? You don't think that there's a person out there who wants to destroy you? That's his whole goal. I want you to read something when you go home today in Revelation chapter 18. It talks about the great Babylon. And it says, and the kings of the earth stood afar off because no one buys their cargo anymore. And it lists the cargo. The first item listed is gold. It goes through gold, silver, precious stones, and this and that. Well, that's the mall. Buy all the stuff at the mall. Then it gets right down to the very last thing called in the souls of men. The least value cargo in Satan's economy is man. The least valuable. Least valuable. What's most valuable in God's economy? Man. See the opposite? Man is valuable in God's economy. In Satan's economy, no value. Listen, when you're into the film industry and music industry, I experience it. It's just a piece of flesh. Here today, going tomorrow, just flesh. So read that footnote there. I think it's on 13.3. 13.3. Chapter 18. Any other questions? Because I think we have to kind of go. No. Yes. Can you say that real loud? What is she saying? Listening to music? No, it's not bad. It'll just corrupt you, that's all. Hey, this ain't all bad. You can still drink it. You might survive it. It ain't all bad, is it? It looks pretty good still, doesn't it? See, we're in the wrong tree when you say good or bad. You've got to see, what will it do to you? The outcome is, it will corrupt you. You know how I know a kid is into music, even a church kid? You know how I know a kid's into music and on the internet a lot? You know how I know? The first way is, he doesn't like his parents. He thinks they're off. Then he wants to argue with them. You don't know what you're talking about. That's called rebellion. And the source of that rebellion is Satan. But you don't even know he's inside of you. Well, I'm a church kid. I'm stuck here. I'm just going to go and one step in the world. Well, that's just one step. Right? Let me tell you, saints, there's no such thing as one step in the world. You've got three people in the universe. You've got God, you've got Satan, and you've got man. Satan, he only wants to ruin you and damage you. He doesn't want to kill you. He just wants to corrupt you. So you're useless to God. That's all he wants to do. That's how it works. That's the real world. I have the experience. You can't reverse this real fast. It takes an awful long time to reverse that. So is music bad? LSM sells some really nice music.
Brother Austin lived it. He produced it. He added value to it in one sense.
Absolutely.
So it's a real strong message. So anyway, you can email him. I'm sure he'll take your email.
HughesPictures.com. That's my website. You'll see my goofy face there, and you'll see my email address. Go ahead and email me. I've got some crazy videos there. Got a crazy video of blowing up the Rolls Royce, wanting to blow the Rolls Royce up. Show you how to throw a boomerang.
So we're really fortunate that we have such a brother like this in the body of Christ.
Yeah.
So
if you go to the website, you say, "Hey, I met that loser." Okay.
and actually he's even teaching the MPC students how to film properly, how to use equipment. So we'll probably get some good videos out of that. So let's give him another thank you.
You know, one thing, I think you need to give Chris and Michio a round of applause for bringing me here. And I tell you why. Chris had no idea about my background. No idea. He just knew I did films and needed some film help. Michio had no idea about my testimony till today. Am I correct?
Yes, correct. Nothing.
Because I don't brag about this. This is nothing to brag about. This is my underwear I'm showing you here today. You know, it's not pretty. So don't go out and think, "Oh, I want an experience like that." Please don't do that. Because you may not come back from it. I got real lucky. I'm the luckiest guy alive. You know? So anyway, thank you.